Part 3.
Okay.
You're pissing me off. And the more you piss me off, Kirsty,
I'm stretching my arm.
I think it's a good idea.
You're absurd.
No!
I don't know how.
Oh, it's going back and forward and back. No!
Ever. But there's still.
No, dear God, it's how I feel.
Oh dear God. Oh dear God.
Oh,
So
he's
you're
gone back
saying-
to 3 minutes in.
Kirsty, you have to wonder if you were causing me.
So it's just wasting my time.
When I was all the shit through all this, when I was met Kirsty,
Oh, this is the good bit. Right, sorry, I thought that was all the manipulation tactic that she... Sorry, guilt trip that she used on me, but there is another one. Listen to this one. She always guilt tripped me with this one.
You're stupid. You're an idiot.
It's funny, this.
I'm sick of all this shit. Sick of all this shit. I'm sick of all this shit. I'm sick of it all. I'm sick of it all. I'd have been better off gone. It'd been better off gone. When I was meant to have gone. Better off gone when I was meant to have gone.
No.
Yes, I was.
No.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. All this shit you put and not moving on your stats.
It's gone back. It's gone.
You weren't in pain, you just want to. Oh no, don't say
Stop it all.
Oh dear God.
Shit you put me through.
I've not done for fucking anything.
That's how I feel, Kirsty. The pain you put me through.
Well, I've gone through stuff too. It's littler. I know it's little. I know my problems are smaller than anybody else's in the world. I know mine are the least ever. But they're still problems. I'm still a human being. Might not be might not be physical, but it's been like mental and emotional.
Anyway, when she was saying about the dying thing, oh God, I should have died back then. She's talking about when she had her massive heart attack and she was saved. She died for 7 minutes and they resuscitated her, and even after that they thought she was going to be a vegetable, even if she did survive. But she ended up actually being a normal functioning human being after that. And whenever things go wrong and whenever we have an argument, she always says that, oh, I should have died back then. She always keeps saying that every time we have any kind of dispute or argument. I mean, some of that what she said is heartbreaking. It sounds heartbreaking. Like, oh, she's just hurt because I'm now abandoning her. I'm basically it in her life and I'm abandoning her. But this is just her, like, trying to guilt trip me into staying because she's got nobody else and she is stubborn and won't have, like, carers come in to help her. Or so she says. I mean, if I actually probably did leave, she probably would just get carers in. Somebody told me that she is just coercive controlling me and that this is her, she's using me for survival. So if I was to leave, she would survive and she would just get carers in anyway, most likely. I mean, they didn't say that, but I know what they meant. They meant sort of that if I left, she would do whatever it took to survive. And that would include probably getting carers in.
What about when I had, and the physical was like, when I was like dead skinny and weak and I had to lug them goddamn heavy scooters around, breaking my back and hips. That might be physical damage that will stay with me for the rest of my life and get worse and worse and worse with age.
You probably have.
Hopefully not.
Possible.
That's all right, love. Listen to me.
Her arm's getting
When
tired.
you go wherever you go, whatever you decide to do, and whoever you decide to talk to, you tell them it's all me.
I'm not saying that.
No, that is exactly what you're saying. That's exactly what you do when you talk to people. My mum doesn't understand.
No.
My mum this, my mum that, my mum. It's all my mum. It's all my mum. I don't like this person.
I've told them the truth. I've told them I'm
I
shit.
don't want. Right. One of the things
See,
I
this
said.
won't help your problem.
One of the things I said to you
And put it down for a minute.
years ago. Stop telling people. Stop opening that big fat gob of yours. Things that are to do with personal in the home things are to be kept there, not to be discussed with other people. Anyway, right, can I ask you something? As an adult to a supposed adult, in quotes, are you going or are you not? I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know the plans for my future. So what are you doing? Going or staying? You say I don't understand you. I don't know what you're going through. I don't want to know what you're going through.
No, of course not. You're
manipulative.
Yeah, that's right.
But I am not manipulative. But I am not.
It's not.
I don't want to know what you're going through.
No, of course not. You're yeah, that's right.
But I am not.
That's not what I was saying. That's right too, by the way. When I agreed with what she just said, I wasn't saying that to the bit where she said about being a manipulator. I was saying that's right to do with the fact that she doesn't want to know what I'm going through. She's never once asked how anything ever throughout my life has affected me. I've had to battle with eternal whatnots all this time. It's like after Grandma died, my mum claimed that I didn't care I didn't cry. It didn't seem to bother me. But it actually bothered me way more than she could ever imagine. It may not have hit me straight away because it was like a lot going on. But after about a year, or should I say the following year, because Grandma died in October, the following year, about January, February, March, that sort of thing, it hit me. And I actually fell into a bit of a depression because I had to adjust to this new life now. Like, the previous year it was okay because there was still a lot going on. But the following year, everything had sort of settled into the new way of life now and the new routine, which was basically nothing fun ever happening anymore because I went from going to Grandma's house every Saturday to now not. And it's not like Grandad filled that void either. It's not like he said, well, you can still continue to come here every Saturday and for us to spend time together. No. Grandad barely ever wanted to bother with me. It was only every Preston Guild that he came here, and when he did, it was all just about talking to my mum about serious things. My mum never once asked what I was going through. I remember I went from being this happy, bubbly child who was very active and used to love playing with my toys and loved playing imagination games with myself. Like, you know, where I'd pretend to be characters from a film, or I'd make up my own characters and pretend to be them, and so on and so forth. Like doing play acting, if you will. I used to do all of that. I went from that to just moping around in front of the TV all the time. And she didn't even notice there was anything strange about that. About the fact that I went from being this happy-go-lucky, bubbly child who could always occupy themselves to now just being slumped in front of the TV virtually permanently. If I wasn't watching the cartoons, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon and things like that, I was watching the music channel and just listening to music via the telly because I had no other means of listening to music. I mean, we did have a hi-fi system and like cassette players, but I didn't know how to operate them at the time. So my way of listening to music was to listen to the music channel on the telly because it was just on. So I used to watch that. Now, I wasn't happy during that time. My mum probably just thought I was happy because I was just watching telly and I was listening to music. But the truth was I was not happy during that time. I was moping. I was slumping. I don't know what you call it. I was in a slump. A thunk. But not once did my mum ask me what if there was anything wrong. Not once did she ask me if I wanted to do anything fun. Like, she didn't like say, let's do this together or do that together or let's go out here, there and everywhere and do fun things. All she wanted to do was go out to Staley Bridge, which I hated at the time. So I found that very boring. And she happily let me stay home because I really didn't want to go. I really didn't want to go to Staley Bridge. Like, I used to go to Staley Bridge before, and although I found it boring, I was still kind of happy to go. But now I was at a point where I just didn't want to do anything. Unless it was something fun, but my mum never offered to do anything fun. And at that age, there was, like, less fun things to do than ever. And also, we had no money as well, so we couldn't do some of the fun things that I could do at that age. Well, I was out of that age where you can do fun things that kids do, like go to... It was called jumping jacks. It's like an indoor play, like climbing frames and like ball pits and slides going into the ball pits and so on and so forth. It was that kind of thing. And I was now too old to do that. So I couldn't do that anymore because we were doing that pre-Grandma dying. And we stopped doing that now because I guess I was too old, plus we didn't have the money. I don't know. I can't remember why. But we were also going swimming every Friday and we stopped doing that. Supposedly due to money as well. So that's something all age groups could do. Back then we used to go in the afternoon during weekdays. Well, sorry, Friday is kind of a weekday. And they had like swimming sessions during the afternoon. You can't do that now. The only time they have swim sessions in the afternoon is at school holidays. And I'm sure we didn't just confine doing that stuff to school holidays. I'm sure we did that year round. I'm just saying that because this was the kind of fun stuff we were doing before that now had stopped. Either due to me being too old to do some of the stuff, or lack of money, or my mum just can't be arsed. But even if we couldn't do that stuff because of lack of money or whatever, she still could have come to me and said, let's do something else. Like, she didn't have to let me just mope around in front of the TV. She could have recognised that I was clearly in a slump and try and get me out of it, but no. So yeah, she never really cared what I was going through back then. She just pegged it that I didn't care that Grandma had died. But actually it affected me more than she could ever know. And I kept trying to tell her as well. I kept saying that I felt strange, and I didn't know what it was. It was kind of like sadness, but I didn't know why, because nothing immediately had happened. The only time I could recognise a certain thing causing my sadness is if it happened recently. And obviously Grandma dying happened a year ago. So I didn't really associate my current sadness at the time, like in January, February, March, April, May, whatever month it was. I didn't associate that with Grandma dying. I just knew that everything was different. There was something wrong with my eternal whatnot. Everything was just screwy. But I guess now I know I was just settling into this new way of life, and I was just having a hard time with it. Maybe that's what it was. And I was also trying to figure out my new joys, because I had none at the time. So I didn't really find joy in anything at the time. But anyway, yeah. So there was that, and I've gone through other stuff since as well, like depression type things, and I went through like a lot since my mum sort of wrote me into being her carer. And that was that, you know, obviously I kind of felt like my life was over now, because I had to be permanently tethered to my mum. It's not like where I had any freedom. My mum didn't allow me to go out on my own. She didn't really allow me to do some of the things I wanted to do. And whenever I said I wanted to do something, like go to college, say, for instance, she would say, well, you can't do this, that, and the other, because you have to be my carer. You have to stay here. You have to stay with me all the time. And the only time you can go out is if we're going out together. And she used to say that, like, every time I say I want to do this, that, and the other, she'd say, well, you can't do it because I don't want to do it, so you can't do it because you can only do things that we do together. So, like, I wanted to go to furry meets and conventions and stuff, but she didn't want to do any of that stuff. So she said, if you want to do that kind of stuff, you have to do it on your own. And she knew that I was too scared to do that kind of thing on my own at the time. But if I challenged her and said, okay, I will, that's when she would say, well, you can't do it because you have to be my carer. And it's like, but a minute ago, you said I could do it. You know? So it's like she contradicted herself all the time. It was kind of like she kept saying, well, you'll have to do this, that, the other on your own. But if I ever called her bluff, so to speak, like I did on this recording, she goes ballistic and says, you can't do it because, you know, you've got to be my carer. And if you want your own life, then you have to stop being my carer. You can't be both my carer and have your own life. But if you're going to have your own life and not be my carer, then you can't stay here. You've got to move out. That's what she would always say. And I just wondered what it would be like if I called her bluff one day and said, oh, okay, then I'll move out. And of course, like I say, she uses every trick that she knows to, you know, to guilt trip me or scare me. It's either guilt tripping or scaring me into staying. So like I say, it's the money situation, the job situation, the place to stay situation. And you'd think maybe she's saying it because she's just concerned. Like, what am I going to do money-wise? What am I going to do new home-wise? Where am I going to live? But the truth is, she just says this stuff to sort of scare me. It's like kind of saying, well, oh, where are you going to live? Oh, you've got no place to go. And if I say, well, I can live here, or I could do this for money, or that, she's like, right, now I've got to think of something else to scare her with or guilt trip her into staying. It's like that sort of thing. She's trying to, and partly I understand it. Like, I understand that if I left, she would be left with nobody, and she would have to sort of fend for herself, I guess. But she, like I say, she could always get carers in if she was really struggling. But she insists that she won't. She insists that she will struggle and just do everything herself. But again, it's just to make me feel bad. I'm pretty sure if I actually left, that she would just, you know, do everything herself. I mean, I would absolutely love to move. I mean, to be honest with you, I would really like to. I would really like to get out there and have my own life and get away from this area and get away from the horrible, nasty people and nasty kids from around here. I would absolutely love that. And like I say, the neighbours have been no help. Our supposed family has been no help. So, and it's a shame because if I could rely on the neighbours or our family, then I could move out sort of guilt-free. But I suppose I should just call my mum's bluff, like, if we have this conversation again, and she starts saying all this stuff, like that she'll just look after herself and she'll struggle and she'll probably die early because of it. And I suppose I guess I'd have to call her bluff and just say, okay then. Because, you know, I've just got to be confident that if I did actually move out, she would get carers in. Even though she keeps protesting, I'm sure if she really had to, she would do it. Anyway, that's all for now. I will continue recording after this.